Friday chat.
Friday again.
Yes.
Mm.
And we are feeling a bit human today.
Yeah.
Because we decided to have, a weekly chat, and now we're like, today is like a day where we don't feel very inspired.
No.
And we're both a bit tired, and we thought about, okay, what can we talk about? And I think it's just a very good opportunity to talk about exactly that.
It's okay not to be okay all
Yeah,
the time.
yeah.
And I feel like after I have started to actually tell people, if they say how are you doing, um, when I tell them exactly how I'm feeling, that two things happen. Either we start talking more about our feelings and we open up more, or people stop asking. And then that's okay. If they are not interested, then please don't ask that question.
Or maybe
So-
not comfortable. They're
No.
not comfortable. They may be interested, but they might be uncomfortable because
Exactly.
they don't know how to react on our feelings. Because we are, I think, very conditioned in modern society to ask the question, "How are you?" But we never anticipate or expect people to give us an honest answer.
No, and I sometimes is saying, well, it hasn't been one of my best days, so and that's the truth. That's how I feel, and we have to be able to tell how we are feeling, and to yeah, we don't need to necessarily explain anything. It's just a matter of people knowing how we're feeling, and and give us permission not to be okay all the time.
And I think it's of course always important to give ourselves permission, but especially when you're going through a rough time. For example, my mom was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer, and she was sick for 3 years before she died, and it was a really difficult time, of course, for the family. And she was at home a lot, and she changed, her personality changed a lot, and she lost a lot of her cognitive abilities, and people came to us, of course, the family, and were asking, "How are you?" Is and I mean, in that kind of a situation, it's really hard to say, "I'm fine." But sometimes you have to, because this isn't maybe not a person that you really want to share.
Exactly.
And sometimes you feel that the question is superficial, and it really irritates you. Sometimes people genuinely just want to know how you feel, and sometimes they want to, but they don't know how to react to it when you then share. So it's really, at least when I was in that situation, I felt my answers were a bit hollow, because I was also, of course, repeating the same things about my mom's condition with a lot of people that I felt that were like more curious than loving.
Yeah.
Because I come from a small community originally, and sometimes I felt people just wanted to know the latest, what do you say, the latest news, so they could talk about it with other people. They weren't maybe genuinely interested in knowing how we were feeling, and that was, of course, a bit, or not a bit, that was very frustrating. When you felt that people wanted to talk about you, but they were not really, they didn't really want to support you, or they didn't have, I don't want to say they didn't want to, because I don't think that's the question. It's more that they didn't have what it took to be a strong supporter in a situation like that.
And it's okay to realize that we cannot support people in that way, and but then we also need to realize that if we cannot support others, then we need to be able to step back and just say that, and say that, well, I would love to help, but I'm not able to do it right now. I can, I can pray for you, or I can ask for help in any way that we do.
Yeah, I can bring you food. I can. There are so many ways we can support each other.
Yeah.
Really.
And also, we just have to realize that we don't always know what's happening for people, and people's situations are so different. So that we need to realize that we sometimes need to show people and give people attention, um, to figure out what's happening behind the scenes, kind of. And we need to feel safe in order to actually express how we are feeling. So we can also consider, how do we create the space so that people feel comfortable with sharing how they really are feeling.
Yeah.
And we also need to be ready to receive it.
Yeah. And we have to exactly be ready to receive a response that we maybe didn't count on, or we had imagined something else.
Yeah.
And we have to make sure that we, like you say, we give people the space and the freedom to feel what they are feeling, and also that we don't press people to share things that
Yeah.
they might not be ready to share at that moment. It has nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with the person.
And sometimes we're just processing.
Yeah.
Like when I came to the office today, I still am processing from the therapy I had this morning. I mean, I just need time to process and need time to figure out things. And we're all different in that way. Sometimes I talk a lot, and sometimes I need to process things while talking, as you know very well. And then it's enough to say it to some person, and then it's out there. Others need even weeks to process things and see, to figure their way to deal with things. But yeah, I think I have one example where we went away for a weekend to meet other like-minded people not so long ago, and there a lot of people were commenting, "You look so tired," and I heard "you look so tired" probably 20 times. And in the end, I was like, okay, I need to say something, and I feel like I should say something, because there is a normal reason for me to look tired, because I am tired often.
Yeah, and you got the opportunity, because we were
Yeah.
giving not a lecture, but we were having a talk.
Yeah. And I explained to people that I am a single parent. I am the sole carer of a teenager that doesn't sleep well. So it's like having a baby sometimes, because she has sleep difficulties. So therefore, I don't sleep as well. It's normal for me, even though I don't have a baby in the house, that I'm tired in the morning. I mean, you would probably not say this to, new parents. So there are logical explanations for so many things. And this is something that I'm not telling people all the time. But this is my reality, and this is, how my life is. And it's just normal.
And there are just some questions we shouldn't ask people. Especially, I felt it very difficult because I was struggling with infertility when I was trying to have a baby, and it took me and my husband at the time 3 years to conceive, and we needed help in the end to conceive. And it's so difficult and it's so heartbreaking when people keep asking you, and when are you going to have a baby? You must be, planning a baby is maybe something. Is there a bread in the oven, or a cake in the oven? And I know it was meant well, but it was a question I was repeating. People were repeating the question again and again and again to me, until I got so frustrated that I said something not very nice to one of the ladies. And I don't think she has probably never asked anyone that question again, because it's a very personal question, and you never know what the person that you're asking is struggling with. And it can be like a knife in the wound if people are constantly reminding you of the things that you are lacking. Like, and when you are a woman and you want, or woman or a man, and your deepest wish is to have a baby, and it's not going the way that you want to, you feel like a failure. You feel like you're not a woman enough, or the man feels like he's not man enough, and you feel like there's something wrong with you, and just dealing with that is enough. You shouldn't have to explain it to the world around you, especially when you're in the process, and you just, like you say, you're just processing everything that's happening and trying to find out what's wrong. And and it's just really difficult. And I don't ask people that question anymore. I
No,
don't.
me neither.
I don't.
Not even my closest,
No.
the people closest to me.
No.
No, it's just there are things we shouldn't say, and for me, the more I think about the words I say and what they mean,
Mhm.
I think even though I talk a lot, I still don't say everything that comes to mind because words have meaning, and we want to create. We create with our words as well. So we want to be careful what we're saying and how we're saying it to people. And obviously, I don't get it right all the time, but
What?
but I'm, doing my best to be conscious about what I'm saying and how I'm saying it to people. Even though it's not being conscious, but not being, careful all the time, like I used to be sometimes, like it was going through a minefield in some situations. Today, I just avoid such situations because if it's not something related to me, it's something I don't have to do, then I just don't step into it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's our thoughts on
not being okay.
not being okay
And that's okay.
and still having to do a Friday chat video. So there you go. We hope you enjoyed.